bet against this right back, Charlie. Definitely.
Hey man, people, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope everybody's doing well and safe. I hope fundamentally, first and foremost, everyone's got their physical health, and obviously I extend that to your loved ones. Second of all, I hope you're all, aggressively targeting and going after your goals of this week. As you lot know, it's Thursday. We're approaching the end of the week. I hope you're all looking back at a week with fondness, and if you're not able to do that and you're going through hardship, we go again next week. And you also got to remember, regardless, you're probably closer to your goal than you was 24 hours or so ago. So yeah, we can't just, we have to be about elevation and things. We ask Arsenal to want to improve and all of these sort of things, and whatever clubs you lot support, it's only right we ask the same things of ourselves, being consistent, pushing the greatness, not being happy with the status quo. I mean, this is why I pride myself on having this sort of, growth mindset community we have. So I hope you're all having a good week. I hope you've all got your health. I hope there's no tragedy. I hope, as I always say, wishing good health on you lot, wishing, financial freedom, opportunities, everything that could possibly, all that good stuff, anything that could possibly be beneficial. I hope it happens for you guys, man. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well and safe. As I always say, it's a pleasure to be here each and every time, because again, we've got a community here of people that talk sense and forever say interesting points. So there's no reason to talk about Karim Adeyemi other than the fact that I like him as a footballer. We're going to get into that. Joe Willock, of course. I've got a video for those of you that were on Twitch yesterday. Obviously, that live stream will come out on YouTube in a matter of hours. I think it's scheduled to come out around 3, where we've covered AOUAR and MADDISON and all this business. We'll go over it again. I'm sure you don't want to hear, and we'll cover it again. But Ramsdale and obviously Ramsdale Berge have been linked in some sort of double swoop. Joe Willock looks like he's going to Newcastle, allegedly, or is he? I don't know. There's a lot of things to discuss and talk about and all of those sort of things. So we'll undoubtedly go through a lot, people. So yeah, we've got a decent amount of things to speak about and whatnot, people. Saying that though, I can't lie. I have to be honest. I'm not fully prepared. Big up the 145 of you that are locked in so far. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, obviously, people, and them sort of things there. Need to take it off Twitch. We should not be on broadcasting via Twitch. So sorry about that, auto settings trying to do me dirty there. So it is what it is in that regards. Like I said, I have to be honest about one thing. I'm actually prepared. I need to turn on the fan because it's starting to feel real hot. So I'm here, people. But yeah, if you give me a sec, the fan's on. And now I'm ready to deliver, man. I'm ready to deliver. Just before we crack on, obviously, and get into what we need to get into, I'm very appreciative. 163 people already in this live chat, and we're here for 3 minutes. The target, as always, is 100. We should have 100 already. I'm not naive. I know a lot of you haven't done that. Hit that like button. Big up the ones who have already. We're at 69 so far. So yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, all the positive stuff I said at the start, it don't apply to you because you lot are not part of the community. Well, if you lot get that, you lot get that. But just before we crack on, what are you guys saying, man? People, hit the like button early. Subscribe if you haven't. Closing in on 40k. Raz, we're flirting with it. As I said, we're flirting with 40k. The target is 50, but I appreciate you banging on the message. And you're right. Let's keep going. Adeyemi would be a great option. Salzburg sell their players for manageable fees too. We're going to get into that, but you're not wrong. 25 million is a fair price. Hopefully we can add some quality to the midfield now. You're obviously speaking in relation to Joe. Once again, we're going to get into it. Our man said, appreciate Omar as well. You're in for a treat when DG decides to show up 30 minutes earlier than usual. That's because I'm going to be on Rance's show later. Sorry, I've got a couple things that need to be done as well in my own life. So we make things happen. Also, people, 4 p.m. as you don't know, I'm also going on Twitch all the time. We need to get into the habit of making sure we're supporting the thing on Twitch, because a lot of my content's going to move over there. And starting today, you lot are always on to me about FM content, football manager content. 4 p.m. we're starting. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to learn as we go ahead. I'm probably going to be a bag of problems. I hope I've done all the streaming settings and them sort of things correctly. You know, I'm going to test stream it once again, which I did do, but we're going again, man. We're going. It's FM time. Like I said, in relation to Football Manager, we're going to do a little bit of a joke game save until the end of the transfer window, and then obviously when Arsenal have made signings or whatever, then we'll go again. And I'm trying to win Arsenal the Champions League, so I'm pretty sure some of you are going to be supporting me all the way, or some of you are going to be there for laughs. Either way, happy to have you all there. JT, I appreciate you. Like I always say, shout out to my international Gooners, them and international supporters. I appreciate you tuning in all the way from Philippines. So big up all the Filipino ones out there as well, and neighboring regions, man. So yeah, I hope you're doing well and safe. Not a happy man. Good morning, right back at you, my guy. Bima Zimma, big up yourself as well, man. Some of you got some crazy usernames. I appreciate it, man. 25 M's is ridiculous. Don't you think it's dumb to sell Willock? I don't think it's smart. I don't think it's dumb. I think all options should be on the table. And if I was Joe Willock or Joe Willock's advisors, probably I'd be forcing getting out of Arsenal just to develop, because based on what I see as a fan, it doesn't look like it's been made abundantly clear what they're trying to do with that individual. You know, clearly they're not trying to let him be sold, because they've tried to offer him to Maddison in the Maddison thing. Obviously, we thought Xhaka was going, so we needed to secure some bodies before we moved people on, you know. And again, if Arsenal is in the image we want, whether you bring in Maddison and you've got Lokonga and things, I don't know if Joe's going to play too much games. There's only 40 games on paper right now. If we go further in the cups, fair play, but there's 2 cup games, there's 38 games. You know, injuries and all of these things, as you're seeing, are all things, but is it a lot of football? You know, for me, I believe once you get a taste of real regular football, you can't go back to what you've done already. And for Joe, he needs to not look at this without emotion. The man's not played for a Sunday League team. He's only ever played for Arsenal Football Club. So I get it. It's a harsh decision. And I'm not saying it's the right or wrong decision to stay or go. I think all options are on the table. But I think he needs to go with what option scares him the most, gets him out the comfort zone. I think he needs to look at it without emotion and say, which team is going to give me more of a platform to showcase myself? For example, he speaks about wanting to play for England. You know, there's still a lot of question marks. You know, I do think he had an amazing loan spell at Newcastle, but people look at it with a lot of rose tints. And obviously the target is, if you go there for a full season, can you now display that consistency throughout the whole year now? That's the next thing. You know, in relation to England, he's probably closer than he's ever been based on the noise he was making at Newcastle as opposed to Arsenal. We do know Arsenal still benefit at times, not of recent, but from that big club bias. You know, Jenkinson's not getting called up for England if he doesn't play for Arsenal and things like that. So there is an element of that. But I think the option is to leave. You know, if I'm Joe, I think it's to leave. Unless Arteta, and I know Arteta likes him, unless Arteta's sitting there and telling you not everything, you know, because Arteta wants you to stay. The club want to keep money and things. They'll tell you every promise under the sun. Don't listen to that. Say, listen, you as a midfielder, how do you see your midfield tying in today? Because Xhaka's staying. Xhaka, like Tierney and Saka, is one of the first names on the team sheet. Partey, when fit, fair play, he's ahead of me. So that's there. You've brought in another young one like Lokonga. You know, there's talk of bringing in another 8. You've been linked with AOUAR and all of these things. Now, me as a squad player, or me in the options, for the fans and that is good. But for me, am I going to get game time? Even if you give me a start, what's the likelihood of, if I play amazing, am I going to be dropped? Which has seen. And there's no European football for him and Nelson and these guys to somewhat supplement and keep ticking over. So if I'm Joe Willock, boy, I think the decision's already made personally, because I think you've got to stop listening to these clubs. He's got to be selfish, man. It's time for Willock to be selfish, man. He needs to, because you see the benefit. He wanted to go out on loan. Nelson and Eddie were acting up. Now Joe's ahead of them. Joe's doing his thing. You know, this is what you need to do. Oh, sorry, people. Oh, fair play. Sorry, people. I just got an email, got scared there. As I was saying, that's what I mean. He's got to be selfish. He wanted to go out on loan. You know, I think he should have went out on loan a couple of seasons ago. There was a time where him and Eddie, they were just bullying 23s. They weren't really in relation to the first team. I think they needed to go, and I think Joe needs to go and play football now. You need to go somewhere, because listen, does Joe stand a chance of starting 10 league games if he does his job here? Probably not. You know, yeah, there's been a time, you know, he got into the squad, same way Eddie forced it in, but it hasn't quite happened. So this is why, for me, all options should be on the table. If Arteta gives you a legit plan and says, listen, it's down to you to take the chances, you're going to get them, but it's down to you to take them, then I think Joe will relish that. But if you're given a better chance of playing football either Newcastle or elsewhere, you've got to do it, man. You've got to do it. because you know. Not even Arsenal fans, the footballing world is talking about you a bit more than they are at than they ever was playing at Arsenal. And like I said, you need to minutes are currency in it, and he's at that age. He needs to play. There's no substitute for playing now. You learn the most things playing games. You know, if you lose the ball in midfield, the other team go and score. You know not to be stupid with the ball. When you're playing these Europa League group stage games, you're playing under 23s. You're not always made to pay for them mistakes. You know, if Aziz and Balogun go into the first team, I know Balogun's there. These are mistakes. These are things they're gonna have to learn. You know. And that's the stage they're at. Be aggressive because you don't want to stagnate. You owe Arsenal nothing. You're at Arsenal and in the first team, yes, because they've given you a chance, but fundamentally because you've got ability. You owe Arsenal nothing. And I know he wants to make it here. I know there's a lot of emotion. As I said, he actually has been at Arsenal from a footballing terms his whole life, with the exception of going to Newcastle. But you stepped out your comfort zone last season and you grew. That's how life works. You're never always going to grow in your comfort zone, you know. And it's not even just a comfort zone thing, you know. You want to make it at Arsenal, and I admire him, Eddie, Nelson, all these guys. They don't want to do this thing elsewhere. They want to make it at Arsenal, but sometimes you need to see things are not levels, and it can't happen. The cookie might not crumble that way, and whatnot. So Joe needs to be selfish, as I said, people. He needs to be selfish. We're gonna get into the rumor thing in a second, people. But I didn't mean to start talking about Joe. You lot set me off, man. What you said, finally got a little job to make some peas, no more begging. Hey, shout out to you for getting a job, man. You know, even when you never had money, don't ever, anyone who's going through tough times or struggling financially, don't ever make you feel you're less of a man or a woman or a human. You know, you can get through the situations. I know it's easier said than done, but I know how it feels to be broke, people. I know trust me, I know how it feels. You know, you pull out your hair, you have some evil thoughts, things have to get done. It's a Mazzolini. Big up my people, Touchline TV. Make sure you're supporting them please go support them on YouTube, Instagram, all of these sort of things, people. They do a lot of good videos. They're two very good coaches, one-to-one sessions, group sessions. They hit you up, especially if you're in the local North London area. They'll travel anywhere. But yeah, support the thing, people. If you're a young footballer trying to do up pre-season, if you're, you know, whatever you are, if you're a young guy trying to do pre-season, if you're a team trying to look for someone, if you're just looking to improve as a baller, they're your guys. And the time scales are good. So yeah, do up them ones, man. And said, why do you seem mad depressed every live? Well, go on, chat to me. My guy, I don't talk to strangers that I don't know. You're moving a bit weird still. But moving forward, blockity block, let's carry on with what we're doing, man. Let me take in what you lot are saying. 387 of you locked in. Ridiculous, people. Well, you know, the engagement is starting to grow and whatnot. Please make sure we're hitting the like button. We've hit our target already at 133. Can we, you know what, let me be ambitious and scream 300. Can we start the road to 300 likes, people? As I said, make sure you're hitting the like button. 4 p.m. we're going again on Twitch. I want to see what else you lot are saying, man. I love the engagements, man. Let me scroll all the way down. Big up yourself, CFC's finest, J, AM, you know, Chico's back. You've been missing a while. You know, Theo, sorry to hear you've got COVID. Hope you get through that, man. We'll keep you in our thoughts. I appreciate that. He scored 7-8 goals. We could use him. I hear that with Joe Willock. You could use him, but same way, we're not using him the right way. Like, we're not using the tool in the right way. We know, ironically, we know Joe. We've always known Joe is a box-to-box man. He's not a 10. You know, he can do the pressing, but he's not an Arsenal 10. He's not a top club 10. Playing between the lines, all of those sort of things, the more Smith Rowe sort of things, that's not him. You know, I don't like to praise a player, much less a midfielder, for running about. I think you got to need to bring a bit more to the table than running about, putting in a shift and working hard. These are things every footballer should have. But then again, you have to accept a man at face value. Like you said, we don't score too many goals. I don't know if Joe Willock can score goals consistently throughout a full season, but he shows a willingness to get into them positions, as shown at the Emirates with his unfortunate disallowed goal. So we could use him. But then you look at the gaffer. Why is it, you know, Steve Bruce has got more of a tune out of Joe than it appears Arteta did? Because I'm not going to say he played poor. There was a period Joe was badding up Europa League. I think he got an opportunity in the Leeds game, and everyone was terrible at Leeds away. And obviously we had a sending off and things, and then he kind of got rubbed out, you know. we could use him, but how are you utilizing him? And for me, at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and cap to you. As much as I like Joe, I want Joe to stay, and I think people shouldn't write him off. If Arsenal was in my image, in that you bring in this AOUAR, you've got Partey, you've got Lokonga, you know, you probably force it a bit and sign another midfield man, in my opinion. There's at least 3-4 names I would have ahead of him, or players I would have ahead of him. If he mixes it up and does his thing, fair play. But I don't know if I'd be able to offer him game time personally, because of where I want Arsenal to be and what I think we should be doing in the market. Like, we're not going to sign MADDISON and AOUAR, by God's grace, hope to be wrong. If you sign both of them, 2 players who can play in an 8, it's not happy days for Joe, is it? So I hear you 100%. I do hear you though, man. I do hear you. He could be utilized, man. I appreciate you lot locked in, man. Appreciate that. And things like that, man. It is what it is in that regards. Please keep rising up the like buttons, people. Please keep rising up the like buttons. We might as well keep your opinions and that coming, folks, but we might as well crack on a tiny bit and just cover this Joe Willock business, as we've just started going into it. So I actually didn't want to start with Joe Willock first, folks, but Joe Willock agrees Newcastle move. Allegedly, he's agreed the move, people. Allegedly. A man said, what it do, DG? No idea why. Hyped for this stream. Smash the like button. I appreciate it. I'm always hyped to be with you lot, man. I appreciate the love. You lot are ridiculous with the love, man. Greetings to everybody, man. I appreciate everyone. Appreciate all the countries you lot are locking in from and what you lot are doing. You know, if I haven't said your name, you know I love you lot, man. Because again, it's a pleasure. Honestly, it's a pleasure to be here. You know, it could be worse. It could be worse. If you lot was a bunch of twats, you know, I would hate to be here, but I love it, man. Love from Glasgow. Anyone from Kieran Tierney's region is accepted here, in my opinion, in my book. Big up Malaysia as well. It's ridiculous. YouTube usernames are 100% undefeated, man. Willock is better than 90% of our mids. I mean, the bar is kind of low, Lewis, but if Torreira would start acting up, I play Torreira. You know, I'd rather give him minutes than Xhaka, but I do not think he's more vital to the team than Xhaka. I don't think he's better than Partey. I think Lokonga is better than him. So I'm not too sure about 90%, but fair play. He should, you know, he's better than El Nene, and that he should be given an opportunity to you know, show his worth. And I don't think he's been given a fair crack. But same way, I don't think Joe has forced it enough. I think these young players have been a bit complacent, or if not complacent, they've fallen for the lies that clubs will tell you. And it's not necessarily lies. If I'm Arsenal, I want to get the best out of Joe, whether he develops here or the most money. So I'm going to tell him whatever appropriate. He needs to be selfish now. He's at that age. You need to develop what's the best for Joe. And the same with all these young guys. What am I going to do so that I'm a dramatically better player year in, year out? You know, Balogun, if he left, I wouldn't have begrudged him. I'm happy he stays. But if I'm in Balogun's shoes now, a year from now, I need to look back in whatever variation I've played in this Premier League, or whatever first team football I've played, and I'm a dramatically better player, or I'm taking roads to be that, or I see what I can do. I don't always feel, when you're, I call it purgatory, when you're, and with respect to people's religions, but I think, you know, with these young players, you get to a certain level where you're better than under 23s, but you might do up the occasional 23s to keep ticking over, and that you are a first team player, but obviously the dynamics that be at the first team, you're not quite a regular per se, so you're stuck in this sort of middle ground. And I think some players can fall complacent with it. I think for a number of years, our HOUSSEM boys have been a bit complacent. And at a while, you know, shout out to Smith Rowe, because Smith Rowe, once upon a time, was part of what I call the clique with Joe Willock, Nelson, and Eddie, and to a degree Maitland, where he didn't quite know what was happening with them. He signed himself, he got out of there. So minutes are currency. That's the only thing, man. You know, do what you can to be a dramatically better player. But for what it's worth, allegedly he's agreed to move to Newcastle. You know, again, I'm using the Brave platform you lot gave me to use. So let's hope this works. You know, I cleared out all the caches and whatnot. So let's hope there's no issues. Should I zoom in a bit? Because this is looking a bit mad with this browser. I don't know if you lot can see. I sure as hell can't. But as you lot can see here, Arsenal agreed Joe Willock exit deal with Newcastle awaiting final transfer decision. And I can't lie, after, you know, this would gas me if I'm Joe Willock, because if I'm Newcastle, you can't wait forever for Joe Willock. At some point, you have to say, listen, we need to go and do this, bring in this guy, do that, because we want you. You're the first choice target. You're who exactly we want. but you're moving half-hearted. I don't know if you're forcing the boat enough with Arsenal seeking clarity for your future. I don't know if it's just Arsenal messing you about, saying, listen, we'll let you go once we do this, or we want you to stay and all of this, but something needs to happen because we need to do what we're doing. If I was Joe, this would gas me because it's a feeling of importance, you know. Playing week in, week out's a different thing, but the club want you, and Newcastle's a big club, and it's a good platform for you. Me, I would have done packed up my bags and gone. Obviously, I hear the Newcastle nightlife's amazing as well. It must be amazing for a young footballer. You could do a Mazzolini. But anyways, people, Arsenal have agreed to let Joe Willock join Newcastle on a permanent basis, according to reports. The 22-year-old excelled while on loan in the Northeast during the second half of last season and has been linked with a return to St. James's Park for some time. I see no lies there. Willock, as you lot know, has found opportunities hard to come by at Arsenal, hence why he went to Newcastle on loan. I'm trying to scroll past the BS. 1 minute we heard permanent, then we heard loan, then we had permanent. I don't mind him leaving. I don't mind him staying. I don't mind him going on loan. I think every option, because a part of me, I don't think Joe Willock's going to be amazing, but I think people aren't deep in, like, he can be a very decent player for us. If we develop him right, mold him right, he could be a thing. The problem is our midfield, we kind of need to fix it up now. We can't really got time to be messing about with things. And that's why I don't mind him going out on loan, because there's still a lot of question marks. You know, if you look at it on a harsh thing, he only went on loan for 6 months. You know, sometimes he scored and he didn't do much in the games. You know, sometimes there weren't enough influence. And really, I haven't learned enough about him in midfield. I know you can score goals. I know you get into the box. I don't know if you can, you know, play make. I don't know if you can drive consistently. I don't know if you can display consistency. I'm not saying he can't do any of these things. I'm just playing devil's advocate. He's got to show it over a full season, because like with every footballer, the toughest thing is consistency, and there will be a dip. So there's a lot of questions. But for me, I'd relish that challenge, because for Joe, I just feel he just needed a bit of encouragement. And you can see there's a different Joe. Like any player, when you're playing all the time and you're playing at Anfield, you're playing at City, you're playing week in, week out, it's a thing. And there's also a lot of lessons for him to learn, because he has been dropped on occasion at Newcastle. So there must have been something he wasn't doing, you know. And like I said, the feeling of when the club, you know, the fans are going to be back now, Newcastle fans, it must be different, definitely louder than those at the Emirates. You know, the manager's got faith in you, the boys have faith in you. You must feel good because you're just playing that's a real Premier League footballer. Not this 1 minute you're coming off the bench, then you're 23s, you're not in the squad. You was a real Premier League footballer last term, you know. So there's every reason to make this move happen, you know. And again, for Arsenal, we need to find clarity, because we're in that middle ground of, clearly we're not trying to let people go because we don't know who's coming in, and we can't really bring in people without letting people go out. This is my pet peeve with Arsenal. We just need to make a decision. Selling Joe in hindsight might be the right or wrong decision, but go and get decent money for a player that's come through your academy. The academy costs a couple of million a year to run. So if a man's come through your academy, I don't know truthfully how many appearances he's made for Arsenal, but I'd say substantial in some denomination. He's won the FA Cup, you know. That's what the academy is there for. Yeah, we want everyone to do the Smith Rowe and Saka thing and become first teamers, rotation players, whatever. But sometimes the cookie don't crumble like that. People need to remember sometimes the academy has to make peas, and he might go elsewhere, become a household name, you know, do the mad thing. And we think, what if we had this guy on our doorstep? What happened? Sometimes them things just happen, and sometimes it's got to be a means to an end. You lot know me. I've got Hale. Listen, I love Hale End. I don't want Joe. I don't even really want Eddie and Maitland and these guys to go, even though they probably should. I want them all to somehow make it here. And clearly, I don't really want to let Joe go, but I honestly feel he's got to develop. Apparently, a deal to see Joe Willock join the Magpies has already been agreed, but they are waiting for him to deliver his final verdict on a return to the club, according to 90 Minutes. So Joe Willock, you know, for a 21-year-old, it's a lot. You know, I'm pretty sure there's probably a bit of naivety. Arteta does like him, and he does want to make it at Arsenal. So obviously, you know, you're gonna try and, you know, have your heart and hope that Arsenal are gonna bust you and things like that. Like I said with Newcastle, they showed him love, so a part of you wants to go back there. I think he's got to speak with his advisors, and for me, look at it without emotion. And I think when you remove your emotion and the love for Arsenal and that, unless Arteta has said, yo, you're going to be used next to next to Xhaka, now that Partey's injured and them things there and stuff along them lines, you need to go and play football. And that means leaving either on loan or permanently. I would say permanent, you know, if I was him, just because you don't want to keep doing this. 1 minute I'm badding it up, I'm coming back in pre-season and whatever. For Arsenal, if this money is going to make us do some serious business and help us get these hours and by God's grace, Maddison and all of these sort of things, why not? You know, and it would be a decent fee because everybody's saying that for me, 25 is about fair, 30 is a bit excessive and that, you know. Everybody kind of bred in Joe Willock a year or something ago, such is life. Man was saying this guy ain't good enough. He would have defo before he went to Newcastle, fans would have defo taken 25 million off him, you know. So if you get 25 million, you get some add-ons there, you get some sell-on clauses. Obviously, we'd like to take a leaf out of Chelsea's book with Livramento and get a buyback clause, but I'd be happy with a sell-on clause and 20 odd mil. As you lot can see, the report claims that Arsenal are prepared to let the midfielder leave, with Newcastle offering a transfer fee in the region of 25 million with add-ons. The total figure is poised to exceed the club's entire budget that has been set aside for the summer, which was initially believed to be around 20 million. Newcastle are said to recognise that a move for Willock would present a solid investment that could pay dividends in years to come, justifying their decision to alter their spending plans. And obviously, it would make sense. 25 million, he might keep developing and you might make that back or some more. You know, he's only in his early 20s. Arsenal might try buying back. Who knows, people? Arsenal have reportedly proposed a loan to buy package to help the move go through, but Newcastle would prefer to keep their loan slot open to make further additions. So, you know, they've seen enough from Joe to say we'll take him permanent. They are believed to be impatient with the situation, but Willock is yet to be convinced that a permanent return to the club is the best course of action. I can't lie. If that's the case, for me, I would walk away because we've shown you that you've played. You've seen how exciting it is at Newcastle. The fans are coming back. You know, if I'm Steve Bruce, I'm saying, listen, there's no coincidence. You look better under me than Arteta. Arteta can have the tight tracksuits, the fancy stuff, you know, the propaganda, but he ain't as you moving mad like me. If you don't want to be here, if you still got to be convinced, then say nothing. We've got to go. And Steve Bruce, at some point, if I'm Newcastle, I'm moving away. I'm saying, pardon my language, F Joe Willock then. You're not on this thing if you're still yet to be convinced. Again, I'm sure Joe Willock's got a million things going through his head, but he needs to pick. And for me, if I'm Newcastle, we can't wait forever. You know, it's a big decision for you. It's an even bigger decision for us because if we were to be naive and say, you know, we're just putting all our eggs in your basket, and you say a day before the window closes, you're not coming, there's an issue there. So Newcastle should have been growing importance, you know. I mean, impatience, sorry. So they should, you know. They can't wait forever. Like you said, you have to ask Arsenal. It's their decision and it's the players' decision. So I'm sure there's a lot to be decided. But I'm going to be honest. If Joe Willock on the 5th of August does not know where he stands with this manager, Arteta, going into the new season, then you need to keep it moving. You know, Arteta has said you're staying in things if we accept it at face value. You know, Steve Bruce has bigged you up. So it's a decision for him to make. For me, numbers don't lie, man. How many minutes have you played in the Premier League under Arteta? Unless he's giving you some real assurances, you know what needs to happen, people. So with that, that's that in relation to Joe. So yeah, I think that's a decent offer, providing we can reinvest it properly and use that money to improve not only our midfield, but for me, look at right back and do what we need to do, then fair play. But it is what it is in that regards. 600 odd people here. Please make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribe on Twitch as well, folks. What are you lot saying after that, people? Because I was talking for a while there. You know, we're at 236 likes. Keep running that up, people. We're flirting with 300. Let's keep going. If we don't start selling and the transfer window ends without getting our buys, our fans will still abuse Arteta. So sell Joe and get Maddison. Fair play. I don't know how much he's got, but it's something like 6 in 6 or 7 in 7 or 8 in 8. Either way, we just need to say Joe Willock consistently scored and things like that. Yeah, it was reported yesterday Willock was offered to Leicester. I can't lie. Out of all of them, I would accept Joe Willock and some money for Maddison because I think there's a use in that Leicester squad for Willock, and I think he can develop and whatnot. I'm not accepting, you know, you're not knocking off significant fees out of Maddison's fee if you're trying to offer Nketiah and Nelson and people of that ilk. You know, you could say Maitland as well, but he ain't pulled up any trees, man. So gutted Willock is leaving. He's a proper pro with potential to be a goal scoring midfielder. We need another season of struggling to score goals. I think we'd score a lot more goals if we could actually create them for a chance. But I agree, we do need to bring in personnel that could score. Eddie has had his chances. He ain't good enough. Yeah, Eddie's not cut the mustard, man. He needs to go out somewhere and develop and do his thing, man. And this is it. Willock should be selfish. Arsenal should be smart. He's not just a winger. He can play up front, but we'll get into Karim Adeyemi soon, man. You know, appreciate all the engagement and things like that. I need to scroll up a bit. Yeah, I see a super chat. Forgive me, my guy, because I see that a while ago. I don't want you to think I'm disrespectful. I missed it out. K, I appreciate that. Stick with Willock. None of our midfielders score goals like him. However, there's an argument that he's not the profile player to take us forward. Exactly that. You know, for me, it's Joe Willock. I know he can run with the ball, but for me, I think the game has to be set up a certain way for Joe, in my opinion, to excel. When it's the box-to-box, end-to-end NBA sort of thing, that's Joe. Now, if we're going to accept Joe for what that is, and if he develops and shows us something else, fair enough. But if we're going to accept that's what Joe's about, and, you know, in an ideal, well, I'm not going to lie to you, we have some midfielders that are better than him, but he complements the squad and he gives us that option, then fair play. Even off the bench against Chelsea, you saw it. But for at him, I know we know he's got that in his game. For, you know, he does score goals. He does score goals. I think if we created a lot more, there'd be less of that. But he does score goals. But at the same time, I don't think he's answered any questions at Newcastle. I haven't really learned a lot about you in midfield. You can't really build, and I didn't really see that. You know, you can't really dictate the play. You know, you're not really shown that you can play in that role consistently. You can have a squad job here. I 100% agree. And there's, you know, he's still developing and things like that. You know, I'm not gonna lie, Joe has had a lot of chances at Arsenal Football Club. You know, he hasn't played week in, week out, but he has had a lot of chances. I do think he's a good player, but again, we can't really carry people, man. The man said, random question, but what's with number 4? You're a left back, Vieira related. It's 4-5, bro. Pray for that. Obviously, I heard I didn't watch the game, but I heard Fofana suffered a fractured fibula or something. That's never nice to hear. Obviously, we hope he gets through that. Somebody said Maribo peak for you. Oof, oof. Levels, man. They're both fucked. They're both messed still. They're both messed. Minus the goals, Willock ain't all that. I can't lie. I think selling him is the best thing to do. I think all options has to be open, but at the same time, I somewhat agree. You know, I personally, when people say he works hard, he runs around, he puts in a shift. Because of what we're seeing at Arsenal, I praise that, but I shouldn't praise any footballer, much less a midfielder. And I'm not saying Joe isn't good, but I just find when you say for all players, and I do, when you say, oh, he works hard, he puts a shift in, surely he can't be that good then. Come on, I'm not talking about his technical ability. He should have that already, you know. I think Joe has been underutilized. You know, I think he looked better under Arsene Wenger personally than he's ever done under Arteta. Because Arteta, what he's using him for, yeah, he can press and stuff, but that's not what we need in a number 10 in that role. And at some degree, you're going to need to offer a bit more. For me, if the game's all tight and whatnot, I don't think there's a use for Joe. But I do think across a 38 game period, in an ideal world, if we're in Europe and things, Joe could get game time here and could play and all of those sort of things. But that's how I feel, man. Engagements have been crazy today, people. We're at 277. Can we keep moving closer and closer and closer to what we need to do? He's a Ramsey sort of player. Fair play. If Arsenal are smart, they put a buyback clause on Willock's contract. Willock needs to cut. Right, man, you lot varied opinions, man. Some of you are harsher than others. Bloody hell. No pleasing certain people. Backup goalie needed as soon as possible. Facts. To be fair, Gooner, I hear that, but that's why we're on the floor, people, because you know what? Smith Rowe, big up Smith Rowe, but he was in the first team for 5 minutes. He's up there for Premier League assists. All we do is slate Willock for not being a good signing. Bro, he's tied with Smith Rowe for five assists in the league, so he's our highest assister. So I do agree with what you're saying, but I think we need to look at it with some context and show that we're just a dud of a team in midfield and things. You know, we don't score goals, we don't create goals. I think if we created goals, then there'd be less of a highlight on that. But yeah, man, for me, there's no point keeping Joe if Arteta is not going to get the best out of him and understand this guy and whatnot. And for me, Joe is also one of these young players that needs work. You know, we've got a lot of them in the squad and we're not seeing our fruits to our labor. How much can we dedicate that over a season? I think Joe's of the level now. You're going to learn the best playing, you know, just playing football. You know, if you do dumb shit and you get dropped out of the squad at Newcastle, you're going to learn what I did and what I didn't do. You're not going to learn playing 1 in 10 Premier League games, then the next one in January. Then when the FA Cup comes around, you're doing that. You know, just 10 minutes here, 20 there. Bro, you're not going to learn. For him, he's not going to learn that much. He needs to play, man, and show he can be consistent. Me, I would relish the challenge of personally going back to Newcastle, showing I can do it for 12 months, not just 6 now. And I think that's where he should be heading, personally. He's best utilized as a poacher in the box, I believe. We needed a concrete decision on him. If Arteta doesn't want to use him that way, best to see. I don't quite think poacher's the best description, but fair play. I kind of, if you mean late runner getting onto something, fair play, but I don't really see that, man. Joe is not that great, but our fans are too emotional, are demanding the club to be ruthless. They say be ruthless, but then they say keep Joe and things like that. And half of these people are saying Joe Willock wasn't good enough 5 minutes ago. I'm not critiquing anyone. I'm just saying football fans fluctuate the thing. Love from Wembley. Big up Wembley. The Wembley ones, them. You know, Spurs fans wouldn't know too much about that. In fact, well, they had a season playing at Wembley, so by default. Why is it that Arteta believes he can get a tune out of Xhaka, Bellerin, and William, but he can't get a tune out of Saliba, Maitland-Niles, Willock, Nelson, Martinelli, Pepe? I just think he's really ducked giving young players opportunities. He only gave Smith Rowe it at a push, you know, and them things there. And to be fair, he did play Nelson against United and Chelsea. He started, not United, sorry, Chelsea and Liverpool, I'm sure. But I just think he's ducked it, you know, because of when he's coming, he needs instant success. I think he's just wanted them. And I think at the end of the day, he likes Xhaka. Xhaka is his guy in midfield. He wanted to bring in Willian, and Bellerin is, you know, you hear, you know, they had a bond as former players and things. So there's a bit of things like that, in my opinion. Terminating contract is the only way to get rid of Kolasinac. Nene, why are we waiting for the end of the transfer window to terminate contracts? Free up space in the squad. Aziz can take El Nene's squad plays. Well, I think we should be able to get 5 million for El Nene. Kolasinac, then wages might have to make you right in that regards. But I think other clubs somehow find moves for these guys. Hudson is pretty self-explanatory. Appreciate you lot locked in, man. What else he saying? When Joe first went to Newcastle, he was starting. It was only when he was a super sub he started scoring regularly. Hate the way the club moves right now. Our highest goal scorer from midfield 100% wants to be here, and we keep people like Xhaka, El Nene, Torreira, don't move. Let's be real. As much as I like Joe Willock, you know, you can see Xhaka. I'm not Xhaka's biggest fan, but you know, there's certain things Joe Willock can't do in that midfield that Xhaka can't do well enough, but kind of can. You know, Joe Willock's not going to be able to build for 38 games. Torreira, the club tried to move him on really and truly. And to be fair, Torreira is better than Joe. El Nene shouldn't be here, innit? I'll give you that one. But, you know, we're going over the top a bit there. For business that's homegrown and he impacted Newcastle, add more on. You're being greedy still. Well, he's gonna say goodbye. He's gonna say goodbye. Obviously, he's gonna have to leave temporarily. I'm happy for Willock moving. Personally, I'm happy for Willock personally that he's moving. He needs game time. It's a gamble on Arsenal's path. Could end up on a positive note or otherwise, but it is what it is. I mean, the world keeps spinning, in it. If Joe Willock goes and performs and does his thing and whatnot, then we might think, what if? But if you improve our midfield and we've got better or equal stature, then it is what it is. The world keeps spinning, really and truly. You know, we're not gonna get it right all the time. If we need the money now, let's go and do it, man. And this is the thing as well. I don't want Willock to have a bad season, but suddenly if he looks shaky, because again, he needs to show it for a full season, people are looking like, oh, what's going on there? And it's the same ones that are saying you can't let him go, you can't let him go, you can't let him go, that would be saying the most. Such is life. Half of the people wanking over Joe Willock were saying he wasn't good enough when he had a tough spell against Newcastle. Ironically, remember when we Newcastle where he got absolutely slaughtered when in the blue kit or whatever, and then he batted it up when he was wearing the yellow kit, where Nelson didn't take his chances when he also started as well. Paul, I apologize. Sorry, I'm late. Thought it started at 11:30. Big up, DG. Hope you're good today, man. I'm always good, Paul. Apologies, man. I had to start a little bit earlier, man. And big up AM for letting people know I'm starting one stream at a time. The Twitch one starts at 4 p.m. Big up yourself, S. Hi, right back at you. Bro, Bellerin's a human being. He's not a football. So you're right. He's not a football, my guy. As long as we get better players with the money, I'm okay with Willock leaving. Simple as that. As look, bro, if you get a suitable partner for Partey and show, you know, if you can get in a 10 or someone like that, just for me at 8. If you know what, if you just bring me at 8, that's levels. I would be okay with Joe leaving personally. That's just me. It's a big decision though, because there's a lot to consider just away from football as well, man. Oh, well, it's got to be cruel to be kind. DG 2021. For me, it does look like for me the most important thing. It looks like Willock's footballing IQ has gone up because I always describe him at times. He looks like it's all gear, no idea. You know, it looks like he's getting a bit more of an IQ, understanding a bit more, playing. You know, in his head, just playing at a calm pace. It did seem like he's on 100 miles per hour and whatnot. So I think he's kind of calmed that down now. Why is everyone gassing up Willock purely off goal scoring as if there aren't any other aspects of midfield? There's a lot to consider, man. If we're selling Willock, we must get Maddison or Martinez. We can't let that sale go to waste or into Kroenke's pocket. Do you think Torreira is coming back? He has to come back at some point, probably. I don't think selling is true. Selling crap players is the right one. You know, Chelsea are they will. For me, I think you will see. You know, these sort of Baba Rahmans and these sort of guys move. But let's be honest. You know, Chelsea have made some sales. They have sold a couple of 1-2 promising young players. City looks like Bernardo Silva's on his way. But I agree, it's a difficult market to sell. Some people and this is where you see how good of a hustler you are, really and truly. Have to see what happens, man. Let me see if there's any updates on Maddison as well, man. Nothing in relation to Maddison. But you man are still trying to do the swapsies thing. You lot are a joke, man, bro. Is this true, Aiden? If it's not true, you might have to get blocked, you know. So we'll put you on time out because I can't see anything on Sky Sports. Moderators block that if it's not true. I see a super chat. It'll be very rude not to. Yeah, Jim. I'm off school, bro. No school. Summer holidays, my guy. I agree with Greeny, man. In the last 2 years, we've invested minutes into Ceballos, El Nene, William, Xhaka, who Joe outscored in 6 months. Remember, Emmy were too short-sighted, moving like a small club. I hear that, but I mean, like somebody said, where's the other aspects of Joe Willock's game? At the same time, you need to be able to show it. And apart from goal scoring, which is kind of overstated, right now we're still learning a lot with him. I do agree with some of those names. I don't agree Williams here. You know, I don't agree with the Xhaka one, but you know, Xhaka brings more to the midfield table at this moment in time beyond goal scoring than Joe Willock. Let's be real. I'd rather play Joe Willock, but let's be really real with ourselves. Joe Willock is going to struggle with that. So is Xhaka. Let's be real with ourselves. El Nene, dud. Ceballos, wasted what 2.2 million or so each year. Boy, shagged. So I agree. You know that we have mismanaged. We've mismanaged, but I think two truths can be true in the same world. Stop spamming. Things are not going to get read if you spam. We need to sell for higher, boy. Willock has a buyback clause, and not until we see official confirmation or any of these sort of things. We need to make players like Torreira understand he is under contract and needs to perform. Players like Xhaka has had a torrid time and is professional as hell. To be fair, I don't think you can say Torreira hasn't been unprofessional, as antagonizing as his, you know, social media antics can be, and you know, all the talking to the press. I wouldn't say he's lacked professionalism. I think that's harsh. I think we've got to be very specific in what we're saying and be fair to certain individuals, people. On that note, though, I'd like to quickly speak about Karim Adeyemi. I mean, we know about him already. You know, he's a bit of an exception to the rule. A lot of you are going to sit here and say, "Oh, why we want more young players?" For me, you know, it's either we try to sign him now, considering his contract is until 2024, or we sit here and waffle how we missed him. You know, he's a very good player. You know, he's got a interesting heritage. He's got Romanian, Nigerian, and German in him. You know, he's a very good player in my opinion. He can play up front, play on the left, and whatever. You know, he's still young. I'm sure a lot of you have seen him in the youth league and things, and I think that's who Arsenal need to go for. He's a very good dribbler. He plays with his head up. You know, he can take set pieces. You know, he can score goals. He can play in tight spaces. He's got it all. You've all seen him, man. You've all seen him. It's not the first time I've spoken about him. He's got a good goal scoring pedigree, and like I said, he's only 19. He turns 20 in January. If you look on transfer mark, he's got a bit of a goal scoring pedigree. As you know, he's at Salzburg right now, and he probably finds his way to the German league, if not before too long. I think he actually spent time at Bayern Munich as a youth man. You look at it for FC Liefering, which is a feeder club for in that whole monopoly stuff. 15 goals, 12 assists in 35. For Salzburg, 14 goals, 16 assists in 53. We either move now or we waffle about how we missed this guy. Boy, he's a baller, and he's contracted until 2024. So they're gonna have to get a new deal out of him, and they're gonna have to sell soon, man. And he's only going to enhance his reputation more and more. I've spoken about him a lot. I'm pretty sure Salzburg played Barcelona either yesterday or the day before, and he done all right there. You should move for him. And like I said, I didn't even see the youth league is where I was first put onto him. I'm sure. Who did he play in England? He might have played Spurs. Don't quote me, but he's a very good player. He can drop deep, he can turn, he's got skills, he wants to take people on. His link-up play is good. He's a good player, and I really want him at Arsenal. Obviously, you need to develop him and things like that, but the Martinez one looks left. This is a guy that's going to grow. This is a guy that's going to allow us to rub out Lacazette and potentially Aubameyang in a footballing term before quick sooner rather than later. And for me, if I'm Dortmund and these clubs, I think he ends up in Bundesliga for what it's worth. But I genuinely think he's a player Arsenal need. And you know me, I don't waffle around this. And for me, I don't say this often. I think he'll genuinely be a star soon. I really do. And this doesn't just go out to Arsenal. Someone's going to benefit, and other people are going to say, what ifs, man? He's truly going to be a good footballer, in my opinion. So you act now or you snooze, innit? Simple as that. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on Karim Adeyemi. Let me get back to what you lot are saying. Joe leaving for 25 and AOUAR supposedly available for less. Well, you hear AOUAR wants to join the bloody club. I spoke on it on my live stream yesterday, and it's going to come out. But you also, apparently, I think the Sun and these things are waffling. But apparently, AOUAR's agents are stunned by the interest. I mean, by the Arsenal's interest in Maddison. Now, I don't really feel that's true because obviously, as I said then, and I'll say it now, it's not relevant. If you play for a team that's expecting to have good players, you should have multiple ones. And for me, if I'm AOUAR, and I hear other men that are levels or good are signing, that makes me think there's a project here. We're on serious business. So I personally think, the Sun or whatever, it just saw 2 and 2 and got 5, because again, it is what it is. I think if AOUAR's agents are going to be upset about anything, it's the fact that, it's 25 million euros and there's a lack of progress, because you are led to believe at Arsenal that just because it doesn't seem like you see the fact that we're a week away from the window starting, the fact that there's so many question marks over members of that team, the fact of it, things look so obvious, like hours waiting to be there, or Nano allegedly be one of them, and there's many other incidences. When it just feels like nothing's being done, surely there's something going on in the background. That's what it feels like anyway. So whether that is the truth or not, I'm not too sure, but if anything, it would annoy me if AOUAR isn't going to sign players. I mean, if I was AOUAR as advisors and they're not going to sign players, because when we signed Ben White, what did you hear Arteta told him? You're not gonna be the only significant signing. So what does that tell you if you're Ben White? Cool, we're trying to build something. Right? It might have been that this might have been better to join now than in it. Where if you're gonna stay here, let's be honest, man walking through London Coley, all you see is El Nene, Xhaka's inconsistencies, Bellerin. About to say something about Bellerin that would have got me cancelled, but Bellerin being Bellerin, it's not going to inspire you, is it? So I don't think it means much. But like you said, that's what I'm on. If it's a means to an end, I want Joe to stay. But if selling him for 25 gives you a bit more to play around with, to go and pursue Maddison, for me to get a right back, or what I would like to see, the man to my left, I don't know where he is on you lots. Well, technically my left. Well, no, in fact, technically my right from the way I'm sitting, but my left from the way you lot can see me, very confusing. AOUAR, it just seems like it could be done. It seems like we have another free run at the guy per se. So, pardon me, get it done or get some replacements done, because at the end of the day, we're going to sit here and say we've been linked with AOUAR, Camavinga, Maddison, Sander Berge, Ruben Neves. bare midfielders throughout the whole summer. Bare midfielders, Renato Sanchez, bare of them. If not one comes in, excluding Lokonga, there's an issue there. Now, I know obviously Xhaka staying may or may not have thrown a spanner in the works. Even with Xhaka staying, personally, I think you need another midfielder, but I don't know if it's true. I personally think we're not getting AOUAR, we're not getting Maddison. I think this club is going to sign, it's going to do all they can to get Odegaard, Martin Odegaard, whether it happens or not. And that will probably be it, man. You know, it seems like we're looking at a 10 and a striker now. We've moved away from a partner for Partey, a number 8. I don't feel, while I want it, we're getting a right back because Bellerin, I don't know if you're going to move. Cedric's been linked with Fenerbahce. Apparently, he's keen to stay and fight for his place. Maitland-Niles will probably leave, but we don't know that for true because it doesn't, like with Joe and a couple of these players, it just feels like a watershed moment. You're waiting for something to happen. Whether it happens is another thing. So, yeah, I'm not really optimistic about us making signings. And as I said, as much as it frustrates me seeing a lack of signings, you know, even Villa, you know, no word said, bringing in Ings quickly, stuff like that. You want to see that. But personally, I'll shut my mouth until the end of the window. And trust me, I have a lot to say come the end of the window if nothing's signed. Because I can take, okay, cool, I want Buendia. We never brought in Buendia. AOUAR, okay, cool. AOUAR rejected you. Renato rejected you. This guy, that guy. I can take that. We're not Barcelona. We're not these historic big clubs, you know. But if you ain't got a plan B, plan C, etc., that's where the issue becomes a problem for me. Even to the point where, you know, I'm not being funny. Edu, you're South American. You as technical director of the Brazilian FA. Can you not utilize your past reports and scouting reports and your contacts to find someone that could be someone exactly the similar profile for AOUAR or Maddison, you know, but significantly less? Personally, you know, Eddie, you was one of these nobody, with respect to him, one of these nobodies that got brought over. You know, and for me, one thing I have a problem accepting is the inconsistencies in midfield, because our midfield doesn't say anything about. We're one of the only teams that we don't know what our midfield is about. You know, we don't defend well, we don't create, don't dictate the tempo. You know, our ability to score goals and obviously defend is impacted by our midfield. And for me, I just feel like I'm going mad because you've got a manager who was a centre midfielder. You've got a director who was a technical director, who was a centre midfielder. And the one area you would expect logically to have no question marks over it, to be fair, you brought in Lokonga, is midfield. You know, instead you're bringing in Partey, you're mismanaging the guy. You ain't got him someone 30. You know, Xhaka is going, then he's staying. Joe Willock, we don't know what the hell is going on. Lokonga, I think he'll get opportunities, but he's just signed. We don't know what's going on there. You know, El Nene, it seems like because he's employee of the month, he probably, you know, gets everyone breakfast and that. They're all cool guys. Probably does odd jobs around London. Coley does gardening and that. It seems like he's allowed to stay. So there's issues in that regard. Sort out the midfield, and you lot were midfielders. So I don't, and you look what Arsenal midfielders. Edu, I'm more looking at you because you was actually a midfielder when we was levels, sort of thing. Arteta, you played under Wenger, and I can't understand what's going on in midfield. Like I said, I don't have to agree with a decision. As a fan, we're allowed our opinions. For example, I don't believe in El Nene. But if El Nene plays, he bads it up, and you know we get Champions League or whatever through El Nene, then I'm exaggerating, but logically, all you can do is put your hands up and say fair play. That's all I want to see. I don't believe in any of these midfielders. I believe in Partey. Obviously, he's always injured. I think Xhaka, I won't say underappreciated, but I think he's underappreciated and overrated. He polarizes a lot of opinions, but fundamentally, I don't believe in him, you know, in the role he plays. You know, I know it's a bit of a ticking time bomb. I think El Nene will, you know, and the club will let you be reminded, will always remind you of it when he plays well. You know, we're bringing out them videos where it shows every touch among a game, but you're going to get what you're going to get. And I think even though it was only pre-season against Chelsea, them games there, they show you not to get gassed off this pre-season optimism and things. Certain men are not levels, you know. Certain men are just not good enough. You need better. You know, you need a right back. I'm sorry, this club needs a right back. I want to be wrong. I want Bellerin, Chambers, Maitland-Niles to do a thing. Someone either needs to make that spot their own, or they need to sign a right back. You know, midfield needs to get addressed. We're probably gambling with certain defensive options already, really, because as you lot can tell, Holding isn't bad, Marie isn't bad, but they're capped. You know, Gabriel is levels, but he's raw with it. Ben White, he's still developing himself. Midfield could help them. We ain't got enough leaders. We ain't got enough street smart footballers, and it doesn't seem like the gaffer is preaching this to them. So how can I expect, just because the season's done and we're in pre-season, things are going to change? Because I hope to be wrong, and it's down to the players to prove me wrong, and I'll be the first to hold my hands up. But it feels like we've been freestyling in preseason. So when we now get going in the season and certain things that our problems are still there, and I see no elements of improving, I can't really be surprised now, can I, people? It doesn't really make sense. So that's how I feel. For some hours, agent angry at Arsenal's Maddison interest. Eddie and Arteta must fix midfield. So we'll call it that. Yeah, it is where it's some very interesting points said so far, man. Sorry, P Mav, I've had that there for a while, man. I don't know who said Willock is Aaron Ramsey's levels. I hear what people say with the similarities, but yeah, man. You know, you could regret him. You could always regret him. But if you sign what you need to sign, you know, if you was to sign Maddison, AOUAR, or anyone for that can just do the job, it is what it is, man. I'm not gonna miss Willock. Let's be real with ourselves, you know. It's not like he's Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah and all them guys who left Chelsea and that. It happens. It's not like it's Gnabry. You know, he might develop more. He might become a household name. I actually back him to do all of that. But the key thing for me is if you sell him and you're still on nonsense and he develops. If you sell him, you've addressed the areas and we're being cruel to be kind. Selling Joe Willock was a means to an end. It's cool. And fundamentally, at base level, anything Joe Willock does beyond this point is a benefit, is a bonus, sorry, because he has progressed from the academy to the first team. The job has been done in that regards. Anything he does beyond that is a benefit. And to be fair, if the players aren't going to play, sell them. And for me, if I'm Joe, as I said, I'm forcing the boat out, man, because you can't afford to keep promises are a comfort to a fool. And you know, you can't, the manager's gonna promise you anything, as we all would, you know. You want to keep Arteta's job is to find the best team, keep everybody happy and them things there. And if he does like you as a footballer, he's not gonna want you to leave. So he's gonna tell you everything you want to hear. You know, just like Joe is gonna say everything to Arteta he wants to hear. His agent might say everything he wants to hear, but at some point, something's got to give. Really and truly. Louise, Odegaard, Ceballos, Willock, all good players. We haven't shifted any deadwood. Maybe we missed a trick with cashing in on Ainsley Maitland. Now's a good time to make amends. That's a good point. A good point. DG, if it's between Bernardo and Maddison and both are open to join, who would you choose? I would take Bernardo, assuming Bernardo Silva would ever want to step down to this club. Yeah, Bernardo, bro, 100%. He's worked. I'm sure he's worked with Arteta at City. There's a lot of adaptability. Obviously, the mental. I'm not saying other man haven't got mentality, but the mentality's there. Yeah, man. Why does it seem like the club has forgotten that we need a backup goalie and right back? I don't know, man. I really don't know. Maybe they're putting priorities elsewhere. I don't have a clue, if I'm completely honest, man. Are we saying that the lack of European football isn't an advantage for the season? Who said that? I never said that. I think it's an advantage if you make it one, because what happens if we start losing? You know, somehow Arsenal would have one game a week and somehow still F it up. In theory, I understand it, but at the same time, if Arsenal want to be a big club, always in Europe and things like that, then you've got to get with it. And I don't think Arsenal has failed in the league or failed in Europe because of the amount of games. It's because of these individual just doing stupidity in individual moments and also not managing and fundamentally the mentality, you know. So again, I hear it, but boy. How has El Nene made 130 Arsenal appearances? Boy, you know what? Shout out El Nene for scoring the occasional bangers, but this is the point. The bar's on the floor, man. Joe Willock is getting there. Same way I think Joe, Eddie, all of these guys will be decent players. But the thing is, where Arsenal is, we can't really, certain man might not be able to help us right now, man. We are talking facts. We are not proactive at this. You are talking facts. We are not proactive at this. We are reactive. Don't look good for the club of our stature. But some fake Charles Watts, but for what it's worth, there you have it, man. Shout to the fake virgin being Charles Watts. Shout to the real one as well. Very average midfield. But as I always say, if you're average, just be mad consistent. We're not that. We're not either, man. We're not either, bro. War chest, 100 million coming out of thin air. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Fundamentally, now that the shirts have come out, the season tickets have been sold, boy, just subscribe. Great work. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Disagree. Torreira is unprofessional. He'll get homesick working abroad. Unfortunately, things happen. Okay, I hear that, and I, you know. But since when are you unprofessional because you get homesick? Let's be real. As much as, and I'm the one who wants him gone the most. But let's be real. How is that unprofessional? I'm not trying to get you, pick you out. I'm asking you a question. How is that unprofessional? You know, because he hasn't made up no noise, apparently. He hasn't been a negative influence. All he's done is been a bit of a baby prior to, sadly, what happened with his mother, you know, just whining and saying, I want to go, you know, and that's mainly his agents talking. That's not him. So how is he unprofessional? Soft, a bit weak mentally. Yeah. Unprofessional. I don't know. See, it doesn't matter. Super late, but 300 likes. Let's move on to 400. We're at 300 likes. So much talking, didn't even know. Appreciate everyone. Can we get to 400? We're at 389. Keep moving, people. As I said, 4 p.m. we go again on Twitch. There's bare gems in places, man. You just need to know where to look, and you need to know what you're doing. And for me, it don't mean Arteta has to go and do that, or Edu has to go and do that. Man have to start thinking, man. Guys have to start delegating. So, boy, I don't want Odegaard. He's weak. He's weak. It's physically and mentally no more snowflakes. Harsh, man. Mentally, I think he's there, but physically, that's harsh, man. Physically, I hear it. I mean, mentally, that's poor, man. DG, how do we go from 100 viewers a stream to nearly 1K a stream? Mad, big up yourself, man. Also, thoughts on Danny Ings to Villa and Grealish completing his medical. Two things. Big up yourself, Patrick. But two things I've said already in my last video that came out. Shout out to everyone who took in the Danny Ings thing. Grealish gonna be a bad boy at City, innit? You know, gonna improve a lot. Gonna be a bad boy for Aston Villa. Massive ambition signing Danny Ings. You got Ings, you got Bailey, you got Buendia. None are quite, you know, Grealish, but good signings, and you know they might get Ward-Prowse there. Villa are doing good things, and for me, you know, Villa got the best winger in the league now, the Jamaican international. If they can sign Bobby Reed for me, it'd be perfect. But when Arsenal's not playing, I want Villa and Crystal Palace to do their thing, man. For extended comments, go and take in the video I just dropped, though, man. Appreciate that, though, man. I'd rather Willock get more chances than El Nene, but same way, it's not going to help Willock get in El Nene's place, because El Nene, in theory, unless something happens, shouldn't be playing much and won't play much, and he's clearly happy to do that. So is the El Nene role and the El Nene minutes kind of the best thing for Joe? Because he, you know, he's not going to develop, is he? You know, that's baby minutes. Put it. Resale value for Xhaka, madness. Appreciate that, Carl. Appreciate that. Simeone said he wanted to play Torreira next to Partey at Atletico. If Torreira patterns up his attitude, do you think that could be an option? I wanted it to be an option. I was the most upset. And all of my followers, please, I'm not lying. I was the most angry that Torreira is going. That's my guy. Torreira could say boo. I'll say no. What he says in the league, nobody says boo like him. That's the best ever. You know, I was at the Emirates, licked off my face. Torreira, oh, he comes from Uruguay and all of that stuff. I wanted that to be an option. But I think that one's gone. I would have loved it to have been an option, because as I said then, and I say it again now, Partey gets injured, you're back to square one. I know Lokonga's here now, but Partey gets injured, there's no number 6. And obviously, you need different options. If you've got a banging number 10, he does his thing. If he gets injured, you either got to have other options, or your midfielder also creating, or you're back to square one. It's always dangerous, man. It's a dangerous territory that Arsenal get into, man. Bernardo Silva is for sale for 51.5 million, according to the Daily Fail 2 weeks ago. A better price than Maddison, 100. Bro, what's Arsenal's objective for the next 3 to 4 years? Bro, you need to get into the Champions League and become a consistent team in that, and not make Arsenal much of a joke. And then anything past that is down to you, man. Big up DG, enjoying your show from Melbourne, Australia. Big up all the Australian ones. Definitely your weakness is on midfield and the right-hand side of defense. So the spine. Foundation. Boy. Who should I manage for a new save on Football Manager, DG? Swallow. Does Osei Tutu have a chance at Arsenal? You always have a chance until, you know, it's never over until the fat lady sings. But I would say it's a mad thing, innit? Because you still, right now, you've got three man ahead of him. And at 20 odd, are you going to get an opportunity? Are you prepared to play 23s in the hope that certain guys get injured or get sold or not doing their business? So you have a look. For me, sometimes you have to go somewhere and play consistent football. So nothing's set in stone. You know, you almost got a chance under Emre, but it just looks like the pathway's a bit mad. And sometimes you just have to reevaluate things and do something else, man. In my opinion. El Nene, Willock, I'd rather give Willock opportunities, man. Willock's braver, innit? I'd rather that. Where we going? The age difference between Willock and AOUAR, Google them, bro. I don't know. If Arteta and Edu don't trust the scouts, then why are they even there? Send them on their way and get some people you trust in. And do you know what it is? I don't even think that's the issue. Sometimes I think, like you saw with Francis Cahegio, and you know, one thing that puts me off scouting at youth level, you see it with youth scouts. You could find the next Lionel Messi and all of these things, but if your chief scout or your technical director or your superior, if they're not taking you seriously or acting upon it, then it doesn't really matter, innit? You're just finding players for the sake of it. And I think that's been the case. We've not acted on a lot of things, in my opinion. So yeah, man. Arsenal have stopped thinking like a big club. Don't kill me, man. McTominay and Fred or El Nene and Xhaka. I'd rather El Nene and Xhaka just because I'd rather Xhaka than all of them names you said, but they should all be put in the bargain bucket and then moved on, man. Bare second-hand games with bare scratches and that, man. Bare 99p games. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, Bernardo looks like he's going to Spain, and you know, for me, you always felt he was gonna go to one of them teams. For me, if I'm him, it's got to be a Real Madrid Barca thing. I know he'll fit in well at Atletico, but I just think he deserves that, man. I haven't, you know, but have you seen what's going on at Derby? The owner, sorry, has offered contracts to players that don't state their wages that they'll be paid. If they don't sign, they'll be sacked. That's fucked up, man. And I think that's something I could, you know, and I can put on my DG. I can do my research. A DG podcast out tomorrow, as you lot know, Fridays and Tuesdays. Make sure you're on Spotify, Apple Music, or for you lazy birds, at some point it will come out on YouTube. What did you say? Derby owners versus players for wages. That will be a topic I'll cover. Love for that, man. I'll do my research. You got all the Aussies as well. I locked in, man. Do you think Arsenal can reach the level of Chelsea City anytime soon under Arteta? Bro, it's bigger than Arteta. If the owners are serious, then things can fall into place. But other than that, it's a myth. Maddison is not levels for me. Boy, I hear that, but he's definitely levels for Arsenal, man. We are the perfect club, but if a man doesn't want to be here, like Torreira, I respect that he don't want to be. If you want to be closer to home and all of these things, fair play. What can I tell you? Keep it moving, innit? Because I'm at the point now where, bro, man can't. I can't carry. We can't carry no one. I can't. I love Aubameyang. If you're not scoring goals, man can't carry you. I want Arteta to do well. I actually admire Arteta. Man can't carry you. We can't. The fans need carrying. We can't carry no one. Anyone that's not with this thing, anyone that's not pulling their weight, they either need to be cut loose now, or for me, everyone's on trial from August to the end of the year. Like anyone who's not pulling their weight, they need to keep it moving. Honest to God, like because it's gonna get long. It already is long. It already is long. You know. I got all of my brethren. We laugh. We're like, yo, we left primary school. We never won nothing as Arsenal fans. We're there. Year 7 now. We're gonna win something. Year 8, we're gonna win. Year 9, we're gonna win. Year 10, we're gonna win. But we surely win the league title. Then it's a myth. It's a stress right now, man. All right, LF, on my life, I thought you said they should slap a buyback clause on Willian. I was about to say Willian has gone. You're bugging, but yeah, man, there should be a buyback clause if possible on Joe Willock. Arsenal don't tend to do that, so if we can secure ourselves a juicy, but say something else, a sell-on clause, a little 20%. You know, like how you see Ings has gone for 30. Liverpool allegedly getting a 6 million out of that allegedly. So yeah, man, do something with that. Where's my charger? Sorry, people. One sec. I need my charger. Get them questions in and things and them things there, people. Make sure you're subscribed and all of those sort of things. I also forgot to speak about we spoke about it already yesterday, but we might as well cover it again. Sorry for shaking up the screen as I'm tapping with my fat fingers. 108-40. Sheffield United double sweep. I know some of you are vexed with that one. Let me find it. Some of you are 100% vexed. Where is it? Maybe God don't want me to even talk about it. Oh, here it is. Sorry, folks. We are going to have to talk about it. As you lot can see here, folks. As you lot can see here, Arsenal planning double swoop. Let me zoom in a bit. Pardon me. Arsenal planning double swoop for Sheffield United duo Aaron Ramsdale and Sander Berge. So bearing in mind, Ramsdale's allegedly 30 million. What are they saying for Sander Berge? Either way, boy, it's looking a bit mad. But anyways, Arsenal are set to be considering a double raid on Sheffield United for goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale and midfielder Sander Berge. Now, I would have thought with Xhaka staying, we'd stop being linked with Ruben Neves and Sander Berge. I don't think Berge is a bad player for what it's worth. I'd rather Neves. 30 million for Ramsdale, similar, I don't think he's a bad keeper, but, back-to-back relegations. I don't evidently have him down as a ball-playing keeper. Why are you spending 30 million on him? It's the same logic in the sense of I am happy with Ben White, but the critics might say one season in the league, you spent 50 million, 80 million pounds now. Make sure it works. In the future, Ramsdale could be 30, he could be the number one, he could grow, he could do all of these things. I don't think he's coming in to be second choice because it's not going to help your England chances. You got into the England squad on a technicality because somebody, was it Henderson or Pope, one of them guys was injured or something was happening in that regard. So allegedly, Arsenal are thought to be bulking at the Blades' 40 million demand for Ramsdale, believing an offer of 30 million is more appropriate, but United are not moving. So Ramsdale would have to dig his heels in if this was to happen. However, as a compromise, Arsenal are willing to table a sizable offer for both Ramsdale and Berge that the Blades, as a championship club, would find difficult to turn down. What's that? 60? Something like that. Obviously their gaffer spoke about them. It looks like Onana's moving to either Lyon or Inter, and Arsenal haven't placed an offer. We actually heard Arsenal didn't place an offer for Martinez. We've only done some talking stuff. Shout out to Leon Bailey and Usain Bolt, because he's right. We're all the JA tugs. We're all supporting Villa just for the yard man there. But that's what it's saying about Aaron Ramsdale. Hopefully, it's Was. I would not mind either player, but bro, there's got to be some more experienced targets or just better sounding targets or just better players, in my opinion. Arsenal double sweep. Call it that, man. Leave it as that. That's that, folks. Short and sweet. I'll keep it to the point because I know you lot don't want to be talking about that. Good for Joe. Deserves a move. Newcastle have a player for the future that fits their need. Always felt Joe never really got on at Arsenal. In my opinion, I would go for AOUAR over MADDISON, 30 M's cheaper, and then get Des at right back to bring the ball forward. Owen, Des said he don't want to sign. Plus, I hear you, but I'd go for both. I'd bring in AOUAR just because that's a partner for Partey and it's 25 million euros, and then you can be aggressive for MADDISON. I'd be cool with either or if it's a case of only one, though. I don't know how much Willian's on, but I'm pretty sure Willian must be taking home a sizable pay packet. First timer all the way from Zambia. Appreciate that. Great work, DG. What Arsenal players do you think we should let go and who should replace them? I don't know for bringing in players. In relation to selling players, it's the obvious. It's the Willocks. Man said Willock. It's the historically the Xhakas, the El Nenes, the Bellerins, the people that are just a couple, man, you forget are even at Arsenal. It's the obvious, man. You all know who should be moved on. Hella meaty. I don't think Berge is a bad player, but boy, every player has a price, and we're moving a bit mad. Appreciate you for subbing. Good job you're doing, DG. Arteta has not developed any players at Arsenal. Instead, lots of players have regressed under his leadership. The players carrying the team are Emre's players. Tierney, Saka, Smith Rowe. I'm still waiting for his blueprint. I do see little bits and pieces, but I agree. I haven't really seen him put a hat on a player and say, yo, you're playing and things like that. Actually, we've got a decent squad, but the gameplay is not clicking. I hear that. I don't think so, man. I do not think so at all, man. When you look at the players, they're not bad, but when you start adding them all together, it's not lit. Will you be going live on Twitch today, 4 p.m. Football Manager settings? So join me, man. And then Friday, I don't know if I'm going live on Friday, but we'll make something happen, man. Without a doubt, I always do. Sam, it is what it is. If this is the real Saheed TV, shout out to you, my guy. If it's one of them trolls and virgins and moving mad, then fair play. You know, you lot do your thing, but you lot weird as hell. But if it's my guy, Saheed, the real one, big up yourself, my guy. If we got Odegaard, we've got to get our 2 with the money we don't spend on Maddison. I hear that. Neves is better than Berge, 100%. I'm just saying, I would have thought the Neves and Berge links would go away now that Xhaka is staying. You're not going to see that number 8 or that pivot partner arrive, man. I don't know, man. I still somewhat back Arteta. I don't think it's all his fault, but he's not helping himself. In fact, I don't back no one for what it's worth. I don't back, I'm not going to sit here and just say out, but nobody deserves my backing at this football club. You know, if you're not Kieran Tierney, Bukayo Saka, historically Aubameyang, actually, if you ain't giving me some crazy service for this team and I don't know, and I have to question your heart, you're not getting backed by me. Obviously, the young players and the new players, they're exceptions, but I'm not backing no one. I'm not backing Eddie. I'm not backing Arteta. Several, I'll always support the team and the boys out there, but actual word backing, you lot don't deserve my backing because the man, they're not backing me. I'm supporting the club. The club are not supporting me because they're moving mad, It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But I wouldn't mind Basuma, but I more want to see, now that you've got Lokonga and you've got Partey, I more want to see the hours, the guys that can help us going forward a bit. Come on, shout out to you. If this is the real Saheed, once again, shout out to you for getting raided by Fabrizio Romano, man. What else have we got? Other clubs would get more than 25 million for Willock, probably, but we need to do what we can, man. We have to deal with what we can deal with at this moment in time, man. We're at 476 people. We're flirting with 500 likes. You lot know what you need to do, man. Let's get 500 likes. Let's stop acting up, man. I think it's confirmed Odegaard is staying sane, but at the same time, it's not over to the fat lady sings. Everybody's selling dreams. Everybody's lying. Man, certain man said Lukaku is staying. We'd rather sell Martinez than Lukaku, whether offers came in or not. You see what happens. We're saying Joe Willock's cool. You get what we're saying. I'm pretty sure there's many other examples. So I hear it, but there's probably a little bit more of a gases in that, man. EG, happy to catch the live. Big up yourself from Florida. Appreciate you, man. Florida, I need to go back there. Especially Miami, man. Big up yourself. Twitch is the way. Come on, man. Twitch is the way. Make sure you're supporting the thing on Twitch, people. Deluded Gooner. Simple as hell. We're still going to be doing hella things on YouTube, but Twitch is looking like the place, man. So make sure you're supporting the thing, because soon, these little live streams that you lot all flocking to, you lot are going to be looking and people are going to be like, where's DG and things? Hey, my Bajans, big up my Bajans. Everyone forgets I got the Bajan blood running through me as well. Shout out my Bajan tugs and all of that. And shout out all the Philadelphia ones, man. I don't think that's the real Saeed, man. I'm on loan at Villa. I appreciate you for loving the content. Come on, let's keep moving towards 1K on Twitch. We're flirting with it. We're flirting with bare things this year. You lot are making me the bridesmaid who never gets married, man. We need to crush them goals. I even see the Footy Blacklist Awards are back open, and I see one love to you lot who have been voting for me on that. You lot have been voting for me on the Football Content Awards. I haven't been telling you lot to vote because I think they're all conspiracies and they all stitch up and it's people voting for their brethrens and all of those sort of things. But yeah, man. Hope you're good. Yeah, Lukaku's a bit excessive, but at the end of the day, if he scores goals, he scores goals. And like Carl said, money talks, bullshit walks, man. All the other stuff is worse. So yeah, it is what it is in that regards, man. Villa could finish above us. I hope not. Big high up the likes, people. Come on. Appreciate that, man. Very appreciative of that. 511. I'm very appreciative of that. Let's get one more question in, because we have to do things. Hey DG, big fan from India. Love the content. Keep up the good work. Appreciate all the Indians locked in, man. Crazy, you know, place with a billion people, whatever. People are watching me over there. Shout out to all the Indians and out there and all the other supporting and neighboring regions and things like that. Arsenal is just full of lip service and smoke screens. It's jarring watching other teams making progressive signings. That's harsh, man, but I can't disagree. Last question, DG, do you think Arteta will rotate his starting 11 as much as he did last year? It was literally guess the lineup. I hope not, because if he does keep doing that, then that's obviously going to affect our way of playing, our blueprint, ultimately just affect our level of consistency and competency, really and truly. So I think there's a lot to be said about stability, allowing relationships to build. Whoever is a right back with Pepe on the right wing, left back on with the left winger, the two midfielders, the centre halves. You've got Ben White and Gabriel. You know how that defensive unit talks to Leno. You know the whole unit. As I said, you know our first attacker is Aubameyang, Lacazette, or whoever's through the middle. Our first defender is them, and our first attacker is Leno. So you know, you're playing out from the back is only going to get so good when you keep changing people. Like what last year, was it not something like 38 games, 37 different lineups? Of course, when you discount injuries and things like that, it looks a bit shaky. You shouldn't be doing none of that, really. It just feels like we're going from, you know, we go from extremes. We've gone from certain people who would never look at the opposition to people who are too opposition focused. India loves DG. I love India. So shout out to the Indians out there, man. Come on. Maddison or Martinez, two different positions. Maddison is probably more needed per se. Keep hitting the like button. Come on. The squad needs more creativity from deep, not another slow, combative player. Boy, I hope Aubameyang does a madness as well. Last question. Big up my Don DG. Why is it imperative we target an English goalkeeper all of a sudden? Do you think this is to benefit the communication with White? I hope it does, and it should, but I wouldn't say we're necessarily doing that because Onana's not English. You know, we've had Onana, Ramsdale, Neto, they're different people. You know, obviously we might have to start thinking about them things there with the homegrown measures and things like that, but you get the point, man. So that's where I probably am, man. I'm not saying things won't work. And where have I said it hasn't or hadn't worked? You know, again, if you want to bury your head in the sand, you need to holler a girl and go and do that, or you need to go and find some sand, or you need to find another channel. We're not going to be ridiculously happy if there's no reason to. We're not going to be ridiculously negative. We're going to look at things for what they are. So, not quite sure the what you was trying to get there, but nonetheless, it is what it is. We'd all love AOUAR to come to the carpet. He does have huge potential, and he is a good player, but I can't lie to you lot, people. I'm gonna have to keep it moving at this moment in time. Obviously, I need to go and handle some stuff. I need to go and eat, and obviously, I'm going to be on Rancy's show shortly. I'll be back again at 4 p.m. That will only be live on Twitch, so make sure you're there, people. Football Manager settings, and there's a bunch of streaming content to come. Like, obviously, I'm probably going to do. You know, we'll probably do the Community Shield, and I'm sure I'm missing out a football game. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a watch along for Spurs Arsenal. I have a game of football. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get back in time. If it's at home, I'll be able to. If it's away, which is in Northwest, probably a bit too much to ask. Ironically, do you know who we're playing? Rancy's team in pre-season. So, yeah, man. If Rancy's wingers are out there, allow it in it. Don't be trying to embarrass DG on the net and them things. And, you know, just if you're going to get past me, just get past me normally in it. But on a serious note, like my man has said, FM stream at 4 p.m. over on Twitch. Make sure you're doing that one up, folks. Yeah, man, I'll love and leave you lot, man. I appreciate you lot. I appreciate you lot's efforts. You lot always support the thing. Southern Exposure, thank you for asking the question. If you don't ask, then there's nothing to answer in it. So you lot, like I said, you lot make these shows for what they are, and I'm very appreciative of it. You know, again, I'm here every day. It could be worse if you lot was a gang of twats, but you lot, you know, we've got people who look different, you know, different cultures and things, and we're all just united through our love of football and our opinions, whether we agree or not. And I think it's very lovely. You know, the problem is the world doesn't see things like that, so it is what it is in that regards, man. You know, so it is what it is. Keep or sell Aubameyang, but I'm gonna back my captain. You know, is what it is. Once again, make sure you lot are supporting Touchline TV as well. So it is what it is. Rancy show's also only on Twitch, so you lot need to get to downloading them things if you haven't already, and things like that. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button. 4 p.m. Twitch. Bye.
Against this right back, Charlie's definitely.
I'm actually gonna leave, but you know, on that, I'll leave. I'll do what Jason said. If you lot want to vote, you lot can do up that, and I'll find it for you. Wait, let me find it. Football blacklist. Is it there? So obviously, people, you know, football blacklist awards are being open, and so is the content awards. I don't care. Listen, the real awards, you lot in it. I don't want to put my heart through this guy. I think it's a stitch up, but just for Jason, I've dropped the links in it in the comments. Go and do up that one if you wish. If not, it is what it is. 4 p.m. Twitch TV, like Razza said. Go and do up them ones there. On that note, I really am out, and it's so good. I got to do it twice.
Against this right back, Charlie.